Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to replace your product and project managers at your company. Just kidding, relax. We're not going to replace them, but we are going to make their lives a lot easier. And if you are a solopreneur, maybe you don't have a product or a project manager, these AI gems or custom GPTs or agents or whatever you want to call them, will help you out in planning out the foundation of your SaaS application. Let me ask you this. How many times have you started a project where you've been working on it hard for a week and eventually you get to a point where you've built something, you got something going, but you're now like, well, what's next? What do I build next? I don't know where to go from here. This is very common. It happens to me all the time. And I found a solution for this. Basically, I need a roadmap. I need a set of tasks that I just drag from the to-do column to the in-progress column to the completed column. And if I can just keep dragging these tasks and knocking them out, I will eventually finish the project. But to get to that point, to have these tasks, it's a chore, right? I'm not a project manager. I'm not a product manager. I'm a software engineer. So I'm just going to have AI do all of the heavy lifting for me. And that's what we're going to look at here using Gemini in my case, but you can also do this using ChatGPT if you have the Plus subscription. And of course, Claude as well has this capability. The difference is in Gemini, you can create something called a gem, which is essentially a custom GPT, and it's free. You don't have to pay a cent or a pence, wherever you're watching this from. So that sounds interesting to you. If you want to replace your product and project managers, or maybe just have them on your team, stay tuned and let's take a look at what we can do. All right, here we are in Gemini. What we want to do is we want to create a gem. To do that, you can go on the left here in the menu and click on Explore Gems. All right, over here, Google gives you some suggestions, some gems that you can use that Google has pre-created. But what we want to do is we want to say create new gems. Click on that. Here we're going to give it a name. We're going to call it Product Manager. And we're going to say this is the strategy product manager. Now we're going to have two product managers. One is going to be for the overall strategy, and the other one is going to be for creating PRDs. These are product requirement documents. So Product Manager Strategy is the first one we're going to create. So that's the name. Now in the instructions panel, what you want to do is you want to paste the instructions for this gem. Now where do you get these instructions, right? This is the brain and the key of the entire gem. This is how it's going to work. So fortunately for you, if you go to my website, which is deployanddestroy.xyz, up at the top, you see the section called Resources. Now in the resources, there are three different instruction sets. Click on the first one here. There's a bunch of text. This is a text file. So you just grab all this text, copy, and paste. Now I'm not gonna go over the entire thing, it'll take forever, but essentially I'm telling this gem that it's a product manager with expertise in software as a service, and its main role is to define product strategy and create a roadmap. And then I'm telling it what the process for doing that is. And I encourage you, after you watch this video, to read through all that is here. And then you can make any changes that you need. Perhaps you don't want to build a SaaS, you want to use it for something else. So you can make those changes. These are again available at my website at deployanddestroy.xyz. So I'm asking it to receive the initial prompt. So I'm going to talk to it first. Then it's going to ask me some clarifying questions. Based on my responses, it's going to create the product strategy. And it's going to use the product strategy section below. So these are templated sections. And then it's going to also create a roadmap, and it's going to reuse the roadmap section below as well. So here's the clarifying questions. I'm giving some examples for the AI that it can ask me. And then product strategy, this is the section, as well as the roadmap. So down at the bottom, you can add some knowledge So this is something where you can upload files like documents or PDFs or images or anything like that, that this gem will be able to reference. But I don't have anything for here. Perhaps you have something from your business, maybe, I don't know, some slogans or something like that, or vocabulary that you want to use inside. And you can reference this also inside your instructions. In my case, I don't have anything like that. I just have the instructions and the name. So if I click save over here, the gem is now created and we can start chatting. The other two gems that we're going to create are going to be exactly the same. Different functionality, but the same process. So let's start chat and see what happens. All right, here we are, product manager strategy. Now, as you may recall from what we just looked at, it's the first thing I have to tell it is what I want to create. So I've pre-created a sentence, actually 2 or 3 sentences here. I want to create an app which will let users manage their home. I want to be able to store important insurance and mortgage documents, take inventory for insurance purposes, and manage renovation projects. That's the app I want to create. It's kind of like, it's very vague, right? Like, so how do you create a product out of that? Well, that's the whole point of this gem. So let's say submit and see what it says. There you go. So the gem read through the sentence and it's like, okay, I have all these instructions I have to follow. So let's get started. It's like, thank you for providing the initial idea, blah, 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 to create a robust product strategy. I need more information. So it's asking me clarifying questions, right? And these are questions, not all of these, but some of these are questions that I pre-programmed into the instruction set. But some of these are made up by the AI, right? For example, this here, it's like, can you elaborate on the key functionalities? And it's asking me all of these questions. So there are 7 questions total. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer them right now. And after I answer them, we'll fast forward in the video and I'm going to paste them in the message box and I'll see you there. All right, I have filled out all of the answers to the clarifying questions. By the way, if you're writing a lot of text, you can click this icon here that says full screen. Doesn't quite make it full screen, but it does expand it upwards so you have more space to write. So you can see there were 7 questions. I also talked about monetization at the bottom because I'm gonna want the SaaS to make some money. So I've answered these questions and I've put the answers here. So I'm gonna say submit. And it's gonna take my answers as well as the initial idea, and it's gonna create the product strategy as well as the roadmap. So let's see what this custom gem created. And we have product names. So my homely, very interesting. Nestwise, I mean, okay, like not the best names, but whatever, like you can iterate on this, right? There's a vision statement, so that's kind of cool. To empower homeowners with an intuitive, all-in-one digital assistant for managing their home, simplifying organization, and providing actionable insights, enabling them to focus on the joys of home ownership rather than the stress of administration. It's a bit of a run-on sentence there, but yeah, okay, I can see that. It has target users. It has user problems. So these are things that it took out of the answers that I answered with. So disorganization and information silos, cumbersome home inventory, inefficient renovation management. I actually experience this all the time. So definitely something I want to fix. And lack of actionable advice. So we have some product goals over here. So these are the things that we want our product to accomplish. Core value propositions. This is kind of a one-liner. Your entire home perfectly organized. All your documents, projects, and inventory in one smart app. Okay, it's a little long, but how about this one? Stop searching, start living. The one app that simplifies every aspect of home ownership. Isn't home ownership 2 words? Yeah. Anyway, key differentiators. So how is this product that I'm going to be building different from the competitors on the market? So this is the product strategy right here, which you can see right here. And then we have the roadmap. So the assumption I put inside the instructions is that there's a single senior software engineer working on the project. So if you're a solopreneur, you would put that here. But if you're running a team, you can obviously put that in here, put the assumption in, and you can change things. Like, for example, you have a budget, right? And a software engineer costs this much and this much. So you can, of course, you can update these assumptions to match your specific scenario. In my case, it's just me coding, so a single senior software engineer. And then it kind of tells me how long it's going to take to build out all of this stuff. So MVP phase, the growth phase, and the future phase. So I asked it to create 3 phases. So MVP is the first thing that we're going to ship, and it should take about 4 months to build all this out. It tells me I need authentication, document management. It tells me that I need encrypted cloud storage for documents, probably because I said that there will be documents with PII. So probably it's like, well, we got to encrypt those. Ability to upload, download, delete, blah, blah, blah. And then home inventory, which is also what I asked for. It says mobile first photo upload from a smartphone camera or gallery. So that's also important. And then simple renovation project management is going to take 1 month. I think probably this is going to take like a week. And these other ones are going to take much longer than a month. But regardless, it's a ballpark. It tells me about the growth phase. So some of the things I said that I wanted to extract into a post MVP, and then things that I think are nice to have, but could be like P3s that come a little bit later, and it listed those out here. So we have a product strategy. So now what you could do is you could take this and edit it, of course, a little bit. This isn't going to be perfect, but you could edit this and then take a piece out. Like, let's say we need to build authentication, and take this and paste it into the next gem that we're going to create. That's going to make PRDs for us. So let's take a look how we can do that. Okay, back in the gem creation screen, you can see that I have one gem called Product Manager Strategy. We're going to create a new one, and we're going to call this guy a Product Manager, and then we're going to just say PRD for Product Requirement Document. And just like before, we need some text to put in here. So let's go back to deploy and destroy, and then grab this second one in the middle here for PRD. We'll grab that text, we'll go back to Gemini, paste it in here. And again, the instruction set is very similar. I'm just telling it that your main role is to create product requirement documents based on the conversation with the user. And I'm telling it that it needs to be clear, actionable, and suitable for a senior developer to understand and implement the feature. And again, there's process, clarifying questions, and then the structure, what I want the PRD to look like, target audience, and then I'm asking it to output in Markdown format. You can change this to be whatever. I mean, you can PDF or docx or XML. Just kidding, don't do that. So these are the instructions. And again, I don't have any files to add here. We're just gonna do save. And we're gonna say start chat. All right, so now back in here, what we need to do is we need to give some context to this product manager. Otherwise, it's gonna create PRDs in a vacuum without knowledge of what we're actually building. So what we wanna do is we actually wanna go back to our product manager with a strategy, and then click on the chat that we just had. Copy all of this text that was generated. So we're gonna grab all of this text. We're gonna Control-C. We're gonna paste it into a Markdown file on the side. So I have it like on the side over here. I'm gonna paste it in. I'm gonna save it. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna come back to the product manager -PRD. We're gonna say these 3 dots down here, and we're gonna say edit. And then we actually have something to attach here now. So this product manager, the PRD, will have context based on the product strategy and the roadmap of what it actually needs to do. So I'm gonna click upload files. I'm gonna find the file, and I'm gonna add it to the gem. Okay, and here's the product strategy.md. We're just gonna click update. The gem's updated, and we're ready to chat. So let's click on back, and we can start a chat with our PRD product manager. So let's click on that. And there we go. Now, the PRD product manager is expecting to create a PRD for a specific feature of the product. So not the entire product, but a specific feature. So what we can do is we can go into our document, which I actually have on the side here, and it tells you under the roadmap, what are the things that you have to build, right? So for MVP, it says authentication, document management, and the home inventory. These are the 3 things that we're going to be building for MVP. So I'm going to grab the first feature, which is authentication and user management. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it in here. So you can see here, these are the things straight out. I don't know why the formatting is so weird. But this is the feature that I want to build first into the product. And again, it's going to ask me clarifying questions. We'll see what it does. Let's go ahead and click submit, and it's done thinking. And then it asks me some clarifying questions. So I asked it to create basic user registration and login, profile creation, secure user data storage, and so on. So it says, that's an excellent start. To create a clear and actionable PRD for the authentication and user management feature, I need to understand a few more specifics. So it's asking me all of these questions again because it wants clarification. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer them, and I'll see you again in a few minutes, where we're going to take the output and we're going to give it to our last gem, the project manager. All right, I've answered the questions which the product manager PRD asked me, and you can see it's kind of cool that it says like 1 and then gives me 4 choices. If one of these is one that I want, I can just say like 1C or 4A. But if I don't, I can of course also include more information if need be. For example, for number 3, regarding the user profile creation, what specific information should the user be able to provide? And it said like first name and last name, but it didn't say anything about like a household name or something. So I said like for B, maybe a profile picture is okay, but also the physical home address, as well as instead of first and last name, we want like household name. So yeah, you can talk to it in natural language, and it's going to adjust its answers. So now that we've answered all of the questions, let's go ahead and click submit and see what it does. All right, it's done thinking, and we have a PRD. We have an introduction and overview. We have some goals of this feature. Users should be able to log in, right? Like that's authentication. We have user stories. So here are some interesting user stories. So as a user, I want to be able to create a unique household name and upload a profile picture so that I can personalize my experience. There you go. And again, these are just like 5. You can go ahead and add a few more, or you can ask in the chat to create more user stories. We have our FRDs, functional requirements. So we have the functional requirements here. So user authentication, the system must allow new users to register, must enforce a secure password, blah, 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 the usual stuff. For user profile, for subscription and billing. So here's some things that we're not doing, non-goals. We're not gonna have MFA right out of the gate. So that's also important, like you don't want scope creep, right? Some design considerations, some technical considerations. So you can see here, authentication should be handled by a secure and scalable module, such as Firebase Auth or a similar service to reduce development time. Now, technical considerations for a product manager, probably they're not going to know what to use, and this is something that's going to be left up to the developers to determine, like the engineering managers, the staff engineers. For example, I like Clerk, so you could use that for authentication. You can also use Keycloak if you want to self-host it, so on. So there you go. Anyway, success metrics and some open questions that you can answer at the end. So hey, we have a PRD now, right? Pretty solid. Theoretically, we should be able to start creating tasks out of this. And that's where the project manager comes in. So let's go ahead and create that. Same process as before. We go ahead and go to Explore Gems. We create a new gem. Call this Project Manager. I'll just put tasks there. And then we need our last instruction set, which you can find on deploy-and-destroy.xyz, very top. And this is a shorter set. There are no clarifying questions or anything like that. So go ahead and copy this and paste that in here. This is a very straightforward set of instructions. Basically, I will give the PRD in Markdown format to the project manager, and the project manager will generate tasks, stories, and subtasks out of it. So that's it. We don't want to actually add any knowledge here because the project manager doesn't need to know about product strategy or anything like that. So we're going to go ahead and click save, and we're going to say start chat. Now let's head back to our last chat that we had for user authentication and management, and let's copy what we actually want to copy is, well, we can just grab all of it. The AI is smart enough to know what to do. So we have our functional requirements, user profile, subscription billing, and so on. Non-goals, design considerations. We'll grab all of this. We don't need, I don't think we need the open questions, but you know what? Let's grab them anyway. Let's grab that, copy it. Again, what I like to do is I like to paste this into a separate file and then save that file as, we're going to call it authentication PRD.md. Okay, we're going to save that. I'm saving it off screen here. So now when we go back to the project manager tasks, what we can do is we can just say add files and then add the MD file that we just created. Okay, so we have the PRD attached in a MD format, and I'm just going to ask the project manager to follow its instructions and create a set of tasks. So please create a set of tasks out of the attached PRD. Some people say, like, every time you say please, it uses like 2 tokens. You don't really need to be nice to your project manager. It doesn't have feelings, but you know, it's nice to be nice, right? So that's it. That's all you need. You attach that, you type that in, press submit, and it's generating. There you go. So tasks 1.0. So this is a story right here. And then these are the subtasks, and another story, and some more subtasks, and another story, and some more. You get the gist. Now, let's say you want to import this into Jira or somewhere else that has import. You can just say to format this in a different format. Can you please print the output in a format which I can use to import into my Jira project? Oh, it says Jira is not supported, but it can do a CSV file. So here's the task list formatted for easy copy pasting. Yeah, I mean, you could do that. Let's do CSV, please. You know what? Let's spare the tokens. Let's do CSV. There you go. And it's just created a CSV. Now you may be able to import this using bulk data import, but anyways, the point is your project manager just created tasks for you to work on. So you can go to, like, you can have projects if you're a solopreneur, and you can create a project, and you can create a story, and you can just add tasks to it. Or you can use Jira if you have a free Jira account or Jira account at your company. Anyway, what we did here was we created 3 gems, and these gems can get you a very solid foundation for your project. So now when you start a new project, follow these steps first before you start coding. And hey, AI can do all of this for you. Once you have these project managers set up and product managers set up, you're good to go. You just type stuff in. Maybe it'll take you 20, maybe 30 minutes to get through the clarifying questions for the product managers, and then you're golden. You're good to go. So use these. They are available at my website. And if you have any questions, comments, or if you feel there could be improvements made to these, please do let me know. I'm happy to improve my own workflow. That's all I had for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.